Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As the civil conflict that has been brewing in the red pill communities is now reaching its fever pitch. And as of the other day, shots fire, shots fire, shots fire. Hide your kids, hide your wife. Mr. Supasly75 is everybody in here. I am your host, Art Banaka, and welcome to my channel. Thus, the other day, I was actually checking a live stream of this current YouTuber by the name of Supasly75. However, his new channel is actually named Heavily Flawed Individual. I believe I'm saying the name right. However, if you do not know who Supasly75 is now currently by the name of Heavily Flawed Individual, he used to be a regular in O'Shea's infamous Rumble Sundays. He was a current, appearing guest. And to be frank with you, I am not sure if him and Mr. O'Shea Duke Jackson actually had a fallout. But from what I've seen in the stream the other day, he was not taking any prisoners. He was kicking ass and taking aim. He came after the neck of O'Shea Duke Jackson. He came after the neck of Kevin Samuel, as well as the now most famous in our sphere at the moment, TLA, the lead attorney. So, what has sparked all this conflict, if you may ask? Honestly, I have no idea. But however, the topic of discussion was the old gods, the old gatekeepers of the so-called manosphere, of the so-called red pill community, is slowly being fed away as the new blood, the new generation is coming through and invading the space to which they no longer have any control over. So then therefore, the aspect or the idea of having to co-sign with the old guard is no longer applicable. So then therefore, and I believe he was mentioning Fresh and Thick and how all these guys were trying to go behind the scene to destroy these two individuals, and therefore now they are back on top, and there's nothing that Kevin Samuel or O'Shea Duke Jackson or anybody else can do about it to stop that shine. So, some of the criticism that he had towards these specifically three individuals, some I kind of agree with, some I find it okay. For instance, when he mentioned that Mr. O'Shea Duke Jackson, if he had the capability to stop somebody's money-making ability here on this platform, that he would.
And his justifications, okay? So let me get back to my main point. If O'Shea could stop you from eating off YouTube, he would. That's not cool. And that's not how dudes move when they're used to getting money and validation, okay? What you do shouldn't affect me if my product is still fire product. Now I may watch and take certain cues to add to my shit to make it better, but I wouldn't want you to stop. You know what I'm saying? Look, we're not Fortune 500 companies. This is not Apple versus Microsoft.
Well, to be honest, that's kind of a fair point, because I believe O'Shea himself admitted it, that when he was calling out this new individual that actually stole the Black Manosphere, that actually copywritten the Black Manosphere. I believe the name is Spencer Holman, and he said Mr. O'Shea did mention something to that nature by saying that he would go behind the scene and make sure that nobody collab with Mr. Holman. So then therefore, I guess to Supasly's credit, he does have a point that if O'Shea had the ability to actually cancel somebody, he probably would. Some of the criticism that he levied towards Mr. O'Shea Duke Jackson were such as he would do business with people that he's not too fond of, that he doesn't like, and therefore, when things fall apart, he would actually put out their dirty laundry. Will there be some response from Mr. Jackson? Only time will tell. Now, moving from Kevin Samuel, he actually mentioned about Mr. Kevin Samuel that this guy is too old to be try to teach these new kids lesson about dating.
So yeah, he's up to 2 Red Bulls a show. That's not good. This is where age comes in. Unless he adapts these newer talking points, or he has to admit that the hoes are winning to a certain extent and adapt his talking points to say like what Ty City and Ramil are doing, and then feed that to the old folks like it's brand new. Like, hey, unless Kevin Samuel says, hey, you guys need to adjust your approach to women. You need to adjust or adapt. If you ever hear Kevin moving forward say adjust or adapt, you know he's listening to the smaller guys. And then when he made the live stream about what he would do as a young man, well, how the fuck would you know what you would do as a young man? Because you growing up back in the 80s is a whole different get down than growing up here as a young man and in these days and terms.
To a certain point, I kind of agree. Well, because when you're looking at Kevin's demographic, some of the people that he actually tried to mentor are those who are hitting the wall of menopause, male and women, because, they are the old people, that's on their 30s, maybe had a couple of divorces or two, and still try to look for love. And some women try to get right into the door right before the party's over, try to get themselves or snatch themselves a high value simp. So then, therefore, they come to Kevin Samuel and then hoping at a shot of redemption. And by term, that Kevin Samuel just kind of splattering all over the place and then make a mockery of them and stuff like that. And then to everybody else's entertainment. So basically, Mr. Kevin Samuel and Fresh and Fit are pretty much doing the exact same thing, but in a different sort of level and a different kind of age group, I say. Because, let's face it, Kevin Samuel's supporters are a little bit too old to actually be going to college parties. But they still believe they can snatch themselves for a 20-year-old chick. Now, what he said to TLA was actually, I believe, when his criticism with TLA, and I quote.
Once again, get back to TLA. This is how clueless TLA is when it comes to this manosphere shit. Once again, there are 3 manospheres. The Negro one don't count with O'Shea because no one's going to attach themselves to the Negro term. There's 3 manospheres. You got the Black Women Manosphere, you got the Spencer Holman official copywritten or copywritten version, and then you got the stragglers, the leftovers, the hanger-ons. So when TLA keeps hollering this manosphere, which version are you talking about? This tells me your research skills into that space down the street, very, very poor for an attorney. You're just going with the flow. He's just going with what's popular. See, everyone thinks Kevin is it. When you don't know the history, like, you know what I'm saying? And you don't respect that space enough to learn the history. Like, TLA is bringing his own people into what his version of the manosphere is. Like, he is so clueless.
Does his criticism when it comes to Mr. TLA make sense? I don't know. I always, is Mr. TLA he's a very humble person when he actually come across people that has more subscribers than him? Or is he, quote unquote, being moist for them? Only you can decide as a viewer. I don't want no smoke from Mr. TLA because, god damn it, he's vicious. And I'm trying to stay clear of any type of beef that might come my way. So, some of the things that I disagree with Mr. Sly yet, because he was making a lot of valid point. However, this is where he lost me. Siri, roll the clip.
It's a bunch of dudes I don't like, but if they just came to me behind the scenes and said, look, we can get some money for everybody. This is all we need to do. We need to play nice. What? Okay then. What's my cut? And when is the payout? I can fake like you if we're talking money to grow everybody's businesses together.
Without having all these criticism levied towards Mr. Jackson, Mr. Kevin, and as well as Mr. TLA, there was some of the stuff that Super Sly had said that I would have to say,
stop the cap.
Here's the reason why I said this. When you actually claim that you would try to fake like somebody in order to actually get the money, to which I said, boom. As you may not be aware, Mr. Supasly75, I have been observing you for a while now on your YouTube channel. And one thing that I know about you is that you do not hold your punches. You are one of the most realest motherfuckers I've ever come across when it comes to this YouTube space. So therefore, if you have to fake like somebody in order to get your money right, you would not say the thing that you said about Mr. O'Shea Duke Jackson. You would not say the thing that you said about Mr. Kevin Samuel. And you would not say the thing that you would actually said about TLA. So the fact that you have no ability to shut your mouth, to maintain your composure, to do business with people that you don't like, actually, it's not a bad character. To be honest with you, you are real to your own detriment, Mr. Superside. And how do I know that? Because you hang around with a very small circle. And some of the people that you actually have around you, I respect greatly. People such as a Truth Teller. And another savage in the business, Mr. Nick Taylor. Oh, these motherfuckers vicious. So therefore, you surround yourself with people that are just as real as you are. So thus, I call bull when you claim that you would actually try to fake nice to do business to get your money right. Because if you are doing so, you would have been exploded by 100,000 subscribers by now. You have the personality to actually go far within this business. However, you want to do it in your own turn, in your own time, and nobody tell you what the hell to do. Also, if that is the point that you are trying to make when it comes to doing business with people that you don't like, then wouldn't that criticism of O'Shea actually be debunked then? Isn't O'Shea doing business with people that he may not like at the moment, going against his own gut instinct to actually do business, thus for everybody win? Maybe he's not the lead attorney is doing business with people that he's not really too fond of, and he's trying to, quote, fake like them in order to do business so everybody get some money. Therefore, with this argument, I say you lose a point. Now, going by second argument, right? One of the things that you mentioned when it comes to Mr. O'Shea Duke Jackson, saying that if he had the ability to stop somebody from making their money, he would. But at the same time, you are sticking for two individuals who are currently now going behind the scene, giving copyright strike to everybody who talk bad about them, who criticize them. Isn't that the same thing as trying to stop their money, try to cancel them from YouTube? Because, quote unquote, their feelings has been hurt. It's the same thing, mate. So that you criticizing O'Shea for doing something that you are not criticizing Fresh and Fit for doing the exact same thing. Try to stop somebody's earn. I believe you said that men just compete. So then therefore these two little knuckleheads, individual, maybe they don't want to compete. Yes, this argument falls flat. Speaking of competition, I'm making this last point right now. When it comes to competition and stuff, right? I understand. Fresh and Fit, they actually have their pulse on the 18 to 35 viewer demographic, and it could be the envy of most of the YouTubers, especially the old guards. Thus, I have no issue with Fresh and Fit when it comes to their working ability, with their ability to network, they work hard, very hard at what they were able to build. Now, some of the criticism that was levied towards Fresh and Fit make a lot of sense. Think about it. You and I, we both have daughters. Let's say 5 years from now, 10 years from now, when let's say they start dating, would you want our daughters to be approached by boys that were raised in the doctrine of Fresh and Fit, that only see women as object to be used and nothing more, to only try to use our siblings, our daughters, people that are close to us, and see nothing more but just tool to be discarded for sexual object and nothing else? I would say you would not like that very much. Hey, me neither. So then therefore, trying to teach young men how to be better human beings, not just boys, perhaps is another another corner in the market that most people are trying to teach about integrity, about some of the things that we had let slide for so long, and then therefore we are now complaining about these knuckleheads in our sphere. So guys like Abba and Preach, guys who truly try to show a level of decency, raising men, not fuckboys, they are allowed to compete with Fresh and Fit, and they are allowed to expose some of the fallacies that goes with Fresh and Fit doctrine. And they're doing a pretty good job at it, to the point that they are now issuing copyright strike on everybody. So hide your kids, hide your wife, hide everybody else. But anyway, these are the points I was making. But I have to state out loud that I have no issue with none of these individuals that I'm mentioning in my statement, because, well, let's face it, I don't want to smoke with none of you all. And so then, therefore, Sai, holla at me. I do respect you, brother, but I had to call you out on some of the bullshit. This is Art Banaka. Share, like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.